Warren Mimidiga, Budger and Awunya. You're going to Dark and Young Ngurrawa. Hello friend, good to see you. Today I'm on Dark and Young country. Well, I'm back up here in the Wattigans just for an impromptu little camp. But you'll notice something a bit different behind me. I'm finally giving the camper a test out. So you saw a video a few weeks back where I picked it up. I actually got it all for nothing and everything. I've had a look at a few things and played around with it a little bit. So I'm out here this weekend to actually give it a test. See how I go sleeping in it, things like that. I do know that the canvas isn't waterproof, but fortunately there's no forecast for rain, so that's a good thing. But yeah, really looking forward to giving it a test and seeing how comfortable it is and see what I decide to actually do to it, whether I decide that I'm going to rip the top off or if I'm just going to keep it as the camper as it is. Alright guys, let's hit the tracks and I'll see you when I get to camp. Be shit out of luck. I might actually be shit in luck. Big branch down there. I'm not going to be able to just drive straight over that like normal. Well, I managed to get my favourite spot. I was kind of hoping to get this one, which was good. So, yeah, you've seen this spot many times before. Glad to actually get it. I can smell smoke though, so I'm thinking this fire may not have been put out properly. Can't notice any heat coming off it in particular. So it may be coming from one of the other fires. There are some campers up through the scrub and everything there, but now to set this thing up and see how we go with it, eh? She gets dusty easy. There's a lot of dust on the road today, that's for sure. Probably need a good wash down, I think, every time I use it. Just give it a hose at the end of the day. I have found a couple of things out about this since using it last time. When I first had a look at it, I actually thought that these were to support the bed a little bit. Like you can adjust this section to support the bed. But I've realised since that I was wrong. They're actually supports for the back of the camper. So you pull them out, turn them around, like so. Screw them back in, then adjust them. And I'll adjust properly once I've got it off the car. They all need a bit of grease and whatnot to clean them up, but yeah, basically that's the idea, is you drop them down and it will support the back of the camper. The one on the other side though doesn't want to seem to come out at the moment. car, right? Now I did actually work something out. These pieces here, I said when I first did the video on the trailer that I wasn't sure, that maybe they're for the annex. I've actually found out exactly what they're for, and they are for the annex. When I first tried to set the annex up, I tried to set it up and connect it to there, and it pulled that and actually started to rip it. But I've since found out that screw end goes down in through there, screws into a nut on the other side, and the annex connects to that. This one's currently on the wrong side, it should be on the other side of the van or the camper. But yeah, it'll connect up onto that, so it will be spun that way to hold the annex roof on top. So yeah, now I know what these pieces are for. I didn't bring the annex with me because I still don't have the poles for it, and I need some spreader bars and stuff like that, so I didn't bother to bring the annex. Plus it's only me. I've got the awning and walls and everything on the car if I really want some privacy and shelter like that. So yeah, I just want to give this a test and see how good it is tonight. So this is me set up. I've put one of the flaps over the window just out on an angle. That's the side I was sleeping on. So bed's up in here. I brought my old AGM just so that I can get some power, and I've got my little 12 volt projector because I want to test how that actually works in here at night. I'm thinking I've got some magnets you can see just here. They're the same ones I used in that little rain guard thing for my awning. So I'm thinking I can just use the magnets to connect that top and bottom. The screen for it, which is sitting there. And it does cover this door quite nicely. So should be able to just, yeah, basically set up the screen straight across here. And then obviously laying back in bed, it'll give me a nice decent view. With it up here, easy to control and whatnot. So we'll see how we go with that. I'll test that out tonight. No, I won't. I didn't bring movies. Shit. I might have something. Yep. And then I've got the car set up. I've left the gap there so I can still open the back door. So if I want to still cook from here, I can. But obviously I've got this section to cook as well. And I've got a little table here. I actually picked these up off the council cleanup. Not even a week ago. There's that one and there's another one with a sink in it. I also noticed recently, so we had a lot of heavy rain here only about 2 weeks ago, just after Easter. And it took on a lot of water. This carpet was absolute soaked. You can see here water stains and that. But I noticed when looking at it, it's got a compartment down here. Now, after measuring it up and everything else, I can get a 62 litre water tank from Bunnings, from BCF. So after actually measuring it all up, a 62 litre water tank from BCF should fit just right in there and allow me room at one end to have pumps and things like that. So I don't know now if I want to get rid of this back section. That's what I was initially planning where the plate is. I was going to cut that off because of the rear clearance. But now I'm unsure because that'd be a perfect spot to put a water tank. And I want to put 2 spare wheels on the front. And the battery will also be at the front. So having that water tank will help offset all the way to that. But that looks like it's going to be a pretty comfy setup. I'm kind of looking forward to the next night or two staying here. Should be good. The only downsides, or maybe 2 downsides I'm finding with the way it's set up. One is having the kitchen on the back door. The back door's always open. That means go-inners or whatever are quite easy to get in there. The other thing is when it comes to a security standpoint and even transporting heavier items, like I had the table and chair and stuff like that in here when I was coming up, it's only the canvas cover blocking it coming out. So if something happens, the canvas cover rips or something like that, things can still come out. So if I go down that line, maybe on this bar here, so it's not damaging the canvas, I probably couldn't do it on that one because of this, but I don't know, we could work something out. But I'm thinking maybe putting a door on there, just a swing out door. And you know, I could, much like I've done, or it's done with the kitchen, I could possibly put the door on there and have it like a little pantry, like a little storage shelves or something on top of that. So when it swings open, I've got access to spices and pantry items and stuff right there. That could be a good idea. Well, that's dinner done. Wasn't too bad. Bacon carbonara pasta thing. Just one of those cheap packet mixes. Some fried onions and a steak that I picked up at Coles. It was like a smoky barbecue rub sort of thing over it. Wasn't too bad, but I think I had a little bit too much heat under the hot plate when I started cooking it. Gonna say one thing though. These little rough country canvas bags that I've picked up from Autobahn, I got 2 of them now. I got that little one, and I got the big one in here with all my cooking gear in it. They are an absolute godsend. So much easier to access all my gear when I want to get to it. It's just all there. I can unzip the bag, it doesn't fall down and everything fall out of it like the old ones used to. They actually stay nice and firm, upright. And yeah, for what, 30, 35 bucks each or something. Bloody brilliant little canvas bags. Look, I know there's a million different places that do it, but I opted for the rough country ones again from Autobahn, and you know, I love them. Absolute ripper. If you're looking for storage solutions for your car, look into some clear top canvas bags. They are actually really good.
Well, that was my first night spent in the new camper. Wasn't a bad sleep. Did toss it and turn a lot, but that's typical for me, especially on my back. Mattress that I picked up for it's pretty comfortable. It's probably a little bit more comfortable than the one in the car, to be honest. Camper definitely doesn't trap the heat like the car does. So it was definitely colder, but the doona that I've got for it still kept me toasty underneath. Big downside though, getting into it and then packing up, or actually closing up to get in here overnight. Trying to close the tailgate from inside is a real pain in the ass. And then you got to zip it down, which that's fine, zipping it down. But having to try and close that tailgate's a pain in the ass. And then if you need to get up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet, it's even more of a pain in the ass because you've got to unzip, undo the tailgate, go to the toilet, come back and do the same thing. And you're almost doing it in the dark. Look, I've got some lights in here, which I'll swing around in a second, give you a look. But yeah, just, I don't know, to be honest, it's easier to camp out of the padge. Set up and all that sort of thing with this is easy. But then again, so is the padge. So, yeah, like when it comes to getting in and out of a night and things like that, it's easier to do it out of the Pajero. Just straight out of the car. Or if I'm with the wife, I'm not thinking that she's going to like this, to be honest. I'll have a bit of a chat with her when I get home about it. I don't know if I'll go home today or tomorrow, but I'll have a chat with her about it and see what she thinks about it. But yeah, it's just getting in and out of it's a bit of a pain in the ass, especially at night. But it's a great idea. It's a comfortable sleep. I do know the canvas leaks a fair bit. When we've had the real heavy rains, there was a lot of water in here. So I don't know if I'll actually be able to get that waterproofed properly again, or if it's just too far gone. But yeah, it's a shame because it is a good idea. It's just that whole back end is just a bit of a pain in the ass. I suppose I better get out of bed and start thinking about making some breakfast. One advantage of this is it is actually dark in here. As you can tell, I've actually got my lights on, but it is still dark in here, so you can kind of sleep in a bit more, which that's a good advantage. I'll give you a look at these lights anyway. So you can see the lights glowing up there. I did a video ages back on $12 Kmart lights. Well, that's what these are. So you got, when the control wants to work, multicolours, which I had it on red most of the night. Obviously keeps the bugs out, but it gives just enough light, especially in the middle of the night, to be able to see what I'm doing. But then if I really wanted to go crazy, I can go to party lights. The remote's not like I'm working from all the way over here. Just go to white, you mongrel. There we go. And they are dimmable as well, which is cool. If I keep it this way, I'll keep them ones in here, I think, because it's useful. So, alright, I better get up and have some breakfast.
Well guys, that's it for this spot. I've all packed up. Pretty much everything this time around is actually in the camper rather than in the car, so that makes the car a little bit lighter and a little bit easier. And that's the idea that I wanted, even with just doing the standard box trailer with a little cover on it. So I wanted to be able to put most of the stuff in the trailer rather than having it all in the car. That obviously helps with the GVM of the vehicle and things like that. So everything's in the trailer. I'm going to head down to the little spot that with the dam and that I normally like going to. I'll see if that's empty, and if that's empty, I might stay there for tonight, see how we go. But otherwise, yeah, I might just head home. But I'll let you guys know once I get down there, and if I decide I'm going home, I'll do an outro. If I decide I'm staying for another night, well, you'll see some of that too. Just stopping quickly on the way out. This wasn't here yesterday, I'm sure of it. What a fucking mess. We've had so many fucking idiots. There's another fire over there with fucking rubbish all through it. So I'm going to grab a couple of Respect the Bush bags and I'm going to give these a clean. That is fucking ridiculous. So this one's looking a hell of a lot better. In the bush over just over here was a whole heap of paper and dunny paper and whatnot. Can't get every little bit out of there. Picked up a whole bunch of stuff from over there, including some tarot cards. Now people that are generally into tarot cards and things like that, kind of hippie-ish, witchies, stuff like that, generally they've got a lot of respect for the bush. But a friggin' set of tarot cards laying over there clearly shows that that person doesn't have any respect for the bush. Then there was this one here, there was a chair camped in here. There was an empty garbage bag laying just over here. An empty goddamn garbage bag. But yeah, there was a burnt-out camp chair in there and a heap of other bottles and shit. And they rocked up last night. They were in there were a bunch of them last night in vans, just like high-ace vans and shit coming in. Had lights blaring all night and carrying on. And then over there, I don't know if you can see it on camera, I'm about to duck over there. But they were here when I got here yesterday too, and they were yelling and screaming and carrying on. And there's a heap of rubbish left by their friggin' fire too. So I'll duck down now and clean that up. I've already got a bag full. So these people left this morning, they were in caravans and stuff like that. Most of that's burnable, which is alright, but look, they left some firewood for people. You can see how long ago they left. There's two friggin' lots of ice, so they had a whole heap of them here watching the footy. Another lot of ice there that's still melting. So they obviously left not long ago. They were making a racket this morning at 8 o'clock. Hey, come on people, lift your bloody game. I'll get another bag out, or I might be able to fit it in one, but yeah, I'll get another bag and I'll clean this up. So I just want a garbage bag so I can dump that down the road, but that's a nice full garbage bag of rubbish and somebody's camp chair. You know, that's just from this little area, from pigs that were here last night. Now I'll go dump it down the road and clean it up. Well, I'm at the little spot with the dam. I'm going to stay here for the night. I do like this spot. I don't know why, since that last spot I was staying at, that's near where I found old mate last year. And I don't know, I just didn't feel as comfortable there this time around. It's the first time I've actually stayed there since, and yeah, I didn't feel as comfortable and as happy there. So I'm down at the little dam, and I'll give it a shot here tonight, and I'll see how we go tonight with the camper. It's in a bit of a different position, so I'm going to have to level it and all that sort of crap, but yeah, I expect that anyway. So, alrighty, let's get it all set up. There we go, there's camp for the night. Actually went up a little bit easier this time. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit used to it now. Actually setting it up properly and getting it level. I actually had to drop the jockey wheel a little bit because the front of the trailer's higher. So otherwise I'd be head up sort of thing, which isn't too bad of an issue as long as you're not head down. Yeah, that's me set up. Couple of ropes just to pull the flap there over the window out, just for a bit of airflow through there overnight. It wasn't too bad last night. Got a little bit cold, but under the doona it was good. So yeah, that's camp, and I've sort of set it up so I can utilise that as well as the back of the car. You know, and I can cook here and there sort of thing. Don't really need the table now, which is good. I don't know if you can actually see this on camera. Hoping you can. But right in the centre of that light there's a little yabby. This little dam is absolutely chockers with them. There's another two little ones right there, three little ones right there. This dam is absolutely chockers with them. There's another one. But they're all tiny ones. It's really cool to see so many in here. But yeah, they are all, from what I've seen, all very small. Another little one right there. Another one there. Another one behind the leaves there. Another one just there. So yeah, there's thousands of them in here. But they're all tiny little buggers. There's 3 in that light. 2 on either side and 1 in the guts. Another there. Another one there, that's a bit bigger. I love this spot for that. For now, I'm just kicking back by the fire for a little bit and enjoying a little bit of music. You might slightly be able to hear in the background. I've had my curried snags for dinner. Washed up, had a shower. Yeah, So now just to sit by the fire for a while, relax, and probably go to bed soon. Well guys, it's that time. It's almost time to pack up and head back into civilization. I've had a great couple of nights out here. I've really enjoyed myself. The mess that was left behind by those mongrels at the other camp, unfortunately it's all too damn common, and it was absolutely disgusting. I got a big full bag of rubbish from there, plus all the broken up camp chair and everything. That all went into one of the bins up near the Pines picnic area. I don't get it. These people have got to drive past these damn bins to get out of there, especially with their caravans and that. Why couldn't they take it with them? But anyway, let's get that aside. I've had a good time. Last night in particular was quite nice. I did end up getting the fire going for a while, as you saw. Just sat back and relaxed around that for a bit. I had an early night, climbed into bed, I think about 7 o'clock or something. Watched a bit of YouTube on my phone, then fell asleep. It's one of the reasons I do like this spot, is I do get phone signal. So I can check in with the missus. It's easier to send texts back and forth and things like that. Now, I said at the start of the video that the purpose of this trip was to work out what I'm going to do with the camper. Whether I'm going to keep it as a camper as is, or if I'm going to remove the top and keep it just as a 7x4 box trailer, and then build it out inside with a water tank and dual battery system, or a battery system, all that sort of stuff in here with a fridge optional and everything. And then have a false floor so I can put firewood and all that sort of camping gear and everything else on top of that, rather than packing the car up all the time, put it all in the trailer. So that was the purpose of this trip, to try and work out what I want to do. Now, a big reason why I'd want to keep this as a camper is to get the wife out more often, because she does enjoy coming out camping, and she hates getting up off the floor. She struggles. She's not real good with the balance and everything. I've said this before. She's always been bad with the balance and things like that. That's why she can't sleep in the car when we do a trip. She just can't get in and out of it like the way I do. So having the raised beds on here is absolutely brilliant. You can sit on here, you can be nice and comfortable. You've got the headroom. That part I think she'd absolutely love. I think she'd be very happy with that. But getting in to the camper, at the moment there's no step. I could make a step or whatever and do that. You've got handles up here to grab onto, one on either side to help pull yourself up. That part would be alright. But the fact that once she's in here she can't stand upright, trying to move around and things like that, I don't know if she'd be too happy with it. So when I get home I'm going to have to discuss this further with her. The newer models do apparently come with a step that slides out from under here, which my one doesn't have. It doesn't have the provisions for it or anything like that, but wouldn't be a hard thing to make myself if I really wanted to. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Is I don't think that it will actually get her out camping with me any more than what the tent does, and I don't think it would really be all that much easier for her to come out and camp in this or the tent. Like, at least with the tent, I can put a milk crate down or something like that next to the bed, and she can use that to lift herself up, and she's alright. Whereas, yeah, just trying to move around in here, she'd be very unsteady, and especially when it moves around, because it does move around a bit when you're inside. So especially things like that, I don't know. So I'm going to have a talk with her about it. I might have to try and make a little dodgy step to help her get into it and see how she feels with it, just at home. And what she thinks of that. Getting the stuff up the front there, into the cupboard, even for me, look, it's not too bad, but again, you're crouched over all the time. So I'm finding I'll go up to something, get something out of the cupboard, and then I'll walk backwards and step back down. Because even just for me, that's easier. So that's kind of a downside for me, and it's it's going to be a big factor as to what I do. The sad truth is, guys, I'm still not decided. I do like it as a camper, and it's a great idea. They are very much a lightweight camper, as their name says. They're a lightweight camper, and it's an awesome little option. But yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be practical for me. So I think I'll have a bit of a talk with the missus when I get home, and I'll try and get her into here and actually, tell me what she thinks and how she feels with it, whether she's comfortable with it or not, and whether she thinks she'll actually come out more often with me. If she's not going to be coming out with me, then there's no point, in my view, of keeping the top. That's the honest truth. Because I'm more than comfortable in the Padge. So if I'm doing solo trips, I'm more than comfortable in the Padge. I love sleeping in the car. It gets warmer on colder nights because this obviously being canvas, there's no insulation, so the cold weather outside gets inside a hell of a lot more, whereas in the Padge I've got all the insulation and everything in there, and it's a lot warmer inside the Padge than what it is in here. Getting in and out of the Padge in the middle of the night is quite simple. I guess I'm also quite used to that. Not so used to this. See, overnight you close the table up here, and you've got to try and put that pin back through here to keep it closed. Otherwise it can swing open. And that's when you could possibly get animals, insects, whatever coming in. So trying to put the pin back through there is a mongrel. Then if you wake up in the middle of the night and you bust them for a pee, this is all zipped up. You've got to unzip all of this on both sides and then try and get that out. So yeah, for me personally, I think if it's only going to be me, I think I'm better off removing the top. That's the truth. I would like to leave the kitchen set up here, but if I'm going to do that, I will rebuild the kitchen, reseal all the timber. Although this kitchen's not all that bad, but at least reseal the timber. I'll be replacing the top as well. That's a definite, one way or the other. I've actually got some nice hardwood that, after a good sand and a polish, would go really well on there. So one way or another, I'll be replacing the top on the kitchen. I may replace the whole thing. I may just pull it all down and revarnish it and put it back together. Who knows? But the kitchen will stay there, no matter what I do. It will change my plans a little bit for the whole setup, and then I'll probably still look at putting that water tank down underneath here rather than in the centre, because the original plan that I had was to have a spare wheel on the back. Now looks like I'm going to have two spare wheels on the front, one sitting side by side. So having a water tank underneath the floor here will help offset the weight of those spare wheels on the front. Plus I'll have the AGM at the front either way. So the water tank under the back here will definitely help offset that. And then I might look at moving other things more towards the back as well, or the centre to the back, to try and again offset that weight. Who knows, I might even put the dual battery system in the middle or toward the back a little bit, again to offset the weight of the wheels and that. But it's just a matter of see what happens, because obviously if the water tank's not full, it's not really adding any weight. But yeah, guys, that's where I'm at. I'm not 100% sold on keeping it as a camper. For me personally, I just don't think it's going to make any difference to my life if I keep it as a camper. It's nice to have a home base set up and everything else, but for me personally, I just don't think it's going to make any real difference. If the wife's going to be coming out with me and she's going to be happy getting around in here and things like that, then yeah, definitely I'll keep it this way. But if not, I think I'm going to remove the top. But yeah, it's kind of sucks. I was hoping this trip would actually give me a definitive answer as to what I want to do, but I still don't know. I really still don't know. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Sorry about the last bit of rambling. Hope you've enjoyed it, and if you want to keep an eye on what goes on with the camper, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and yeah, well, subscribe anyway, to check out the rest of my videos. Alright guys, Yamma Bujiri Muruku. Walk a good path. Yano. Goodbye.